Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing One Piece chapter 1007, titled Mr. Racoon Dog or Tanuki, in reference to Chopper, of course. Um, if you haven't read the chapter already, spoiler warning, spoiler alert, because we will be spoiling. A lot happened, so I'll try to go through the less important parts quicker till we can get to the big things. So the cover page is Caesar blowing up some balloons for penguins because like they're having a party or something. Now let's jump straight into the chapter. So we see the first page is the aftermath basically of all this is going on still. And this is some of the aftermath. We see that the Obiwa Banshu and the Mimawari Gumi have been taken down. Some of their top fighters are down, that being Hote, Kazekage, Daikoku, and we see some of the Beast Pirates reference, this is the power of the legendary Yakuza, that being Hyogoro and his men. And Apu is saying that, Hyogoro managed to resist the effects of the Ice-Oni, but still use its power to take down all these strong men. And Drake is just like, this is why the people feared Wano so much. Because the samurai are so strong. Now we cut to Hyogoro again, and we see him sitting, preparing to meet his end now. And Yatape is behind him, waiting to swing the sword down upon him and cut off his head. But Yatape is sad, he's crying, because of course remember Hyogoro is their leader, and he's been so for years. So Hyogoro is starting to turn more and more now. He's growling, and he's telling them, you need to hurry up and do this before I fully transform, because of course I wouldn't be able to control it and might hurt you all. We next get a next scene again, but this time of Omasa and Sunagoro. And Omasa is just like how Hyogoro is. Omasa has fully transformed, and Sunagoro is about to behead him as well. But of course, he still can't bring himself to fully do it, so they're prepping themselves mentally to do it. Now we cut over to more of the Beast Pirates, and they're asking they're asking Queen then for help, and they're questioning just why he unleashed this virus, not just against the samurai, but on his own men. And we see Queen begins to get angry, and he transforms into his Brachiosaurus form, and he's like, "Shut up, you nobodies!" And he says that his Ice-Oni is his masterpiece, his greatest invention. And he said, basically, I made this virus for you, because he says the pleasures and the waiters are basically a waste of time, because the pleasures, all they do is laugh, and the waiters, well, the waiters are waiting on smiles, and there are no more smiles. So these men are just, I guess, fodder for him to use. And he says that being fodder, the virus at least would give you some sort of strength. Even though it kills you, it would give you strength. So I'll use it in that aspect, like a biological weapon to attack our enemies. And he mentions that we could always find more soldiers to replace you all if when you die. And then we see we see they're still wondering, you know, why, but they kind of understand now that Queen is basically trash. Um, so yeah, they decide to take a stand, and the men are saying that you know, the pirates may be their enemies, um, but they didn't do this to them, kinda because we see some of the men saying that after this they're going to quit the Beast Pirates, and this kind of leads the Queen going into a little rant, and he mentions that basically Chopper is a pirate, and he probably stole the antivirus that he gave Apu before he already stole that and ran away and used it on himself. Um, And basically he's saying that Chopper is a pirate, so you can't trust pirates. This is another callback to earlier on in this arc. We saw Kaido mention that all pirates betray each other, be it alliances or whatever. So this kinda leads into something. We don't know what it is, but maybe Kaido was betrayed, maybe Queen was betrayed, and this is why they have that mindset. But throughout the arc, we also saw that this isn't wholly true that all pirates do that, because we saw the alliance with Law and Luffy. No one betrayed anyone. We saw with Kid, even though Kid now formed a mini alliance, not really saying it is an alliance because he doesn't really talk about that stuff, but we know it's a mini alliance to fight Kaido. We saw Luffy's alliance with Kinemon and all the others. So I believe at the end of this arc, at least, Luffy and they will prove to Kaido and his crew that not all pirates betray each other, and some are trustworthy. And they would prove this to the world as well. We now cut back now and we see Yatape is about to behead Hyogoro, and Hyogoro is almost fully transformed, just one horn is missing. And while he's bringing down his sword, we see Chopper jumping and ball weight. And he blocks the sword and we see gulp by Hyogoro's mouth, so we don't know what happened. But next we cut and we see Chopper's face all lit up, stars in his eyes because he's happy, and he's just like made it in time. And everyone is like, what? Mr. Racoon Dog? And they're all laughing because, of course, well, smiling then. So pleasures, again with just their own men as well, being the samurai, are happy to see him. And they see Hyogoro is being cured slowly, and Chopper says, this is going to heat up your body really quickly, but it will hurt a bit. And we see Yatape crying. And Chopper is like, we're saved. The men are like, we're saved. And they always knew Chopper would pull it through. And we see Chopper call out Miyagi and Tristan. And he's like, Miyagi, Tristan, hurry up. And they push out this huge cannon. And we're like, they're all like, we're ready to go, Mr. Chopper. And everyone's like, a cannon? And they fire it. And we see Chopper is like, and there's this big explosion when they fire. And you know, like, I'll draw up here, like how the mushroom cloud is when there's an explosion. There's a huge mushroom cloud, but instead of it being a mushroom cloud, it's a chopper cloud. So we see Chopper's little face in the cloud. And it's called Chopper Phage Nebulizer. And Queen is like, what do you think you're doing, Racoon Dog? And we see all the men are basically being cured. And Chopper tells Queen that there are thousands of people here, so if you were to make an antivirus that requires an injection, then it would take forever and might not be as useful if you have to go through thousands of people injecting them to cure them. So what Chopper did now is he created his own virus. Using the antibodies, he created an airborne version of the antivirus to counteract this virus. And that way, when it explodes, this mushroom cloud now is the antivirus. So it spreads, so everyone who breathes it in now would be cured instead of having to administer it one by one. Queen is pissed off. And Queen is like, why would you bother to help my guys then? Why didn't just help the samurai? And Chopper tells him that, viruses aren't meant to be used as weapons. They always end up going out of control. And this goes back to Chopper's mindset from way back. He doesn't believe in hurting people with medicine. He believes in healing everyone, be it enemy or foe. We saw this even when Luffy and Usopp fought, and Usopp left the crew temporarily. Chopper wanted to help him. But moving on now, we see Queen ready in her next hyper beam to attack Chopper, and we see now it's not really a hyper. I think he's firing a gun from his mouth. Sorry, not a hyper beam again. He's firing from his gun in his mouth. And we see the waiters and the pleasures jump in front of Chopper basically to block him. And Queen is like, why are you doing this, idiots? Why are you protecting him? And they tell Queen to shut up. Basically, they rather die on the side of Chopper who saved them instead of die fighting for someone like Queen who used them. So I guess at the end of this arc, maybe a lot of them would join the Grand Fleet. That would be cool. And everyone is like, thank you, Chopper, and they agree they would protect Chopper. And they're telling Queen to die. And we see Marco fly up to Queen and wraps his wings around his neck in like a chokehold. And Marco is like, nice job, Tanuki or Racoon Dog. Go ahead and pop him. And we see Top Chopper is like, thanks Marco, but he has one other thing to say. And he eats a rumble ball, and we see Chopper turn into his big monster point, and he smacks Queen across his face. Like, and he's like, I'm not a Tanuki. So yeah, everyone does the air face that Oda's been doing this whole arc. So everyone's like, huh? Yeah, this should be it. So yeah, we see Marco make the face. We see Drake, Hyogoro, Yatape, one of the pleasures, and the next boss, I forgot her name. Now we cut away, and we see Momo and Shinobu and Yamato running away. And basically, Yamato is talking, and he says that well, she says, he says, she. I'm not gonna get into that because people still about that, but Yamato is still saying that each floor of the castle has spacious areas under the roof, and they're running, they're trying to get away, and Momo is saying he hope he isn't hurting Yamato's back because he's hugging her, hiding inside her clothes, and he's berating himself, saying that he's weak and he hates himself and all of that, and they're trying to Yamato and Shinobu are kind of trying to cheer him up in a sense by saying you're really good, and Chopper says, I am not brave, and transform into his dragon form, ripping open Yamato's clothes. Well, not ripping it open, kinda. He pops out by her titty. So yeah, and Shinobu is like, Lord Momonosuke. Yamato makes an expression, and she says, what an eel. Curious about that. But yeah, I wonder why they said eel. We'll see more about that later on. Hopefully, we get more clarification on that. But we then cut over to CP0, and I think this is foreshadowing for something, but they mentioned that when Kaido was caught, basically, Vegapunk extracted Kaido's blood or his lineage factor to create a Smile Devil fruit. And they said on it was on Punk Hazard, but Vegapunk deemed it a failure and it was destroyed. Well, they assume it was destroyed. But one of them also mentions that there was still a facility on Punk Hazard, so maybe it wasn't destroyed. But they mentioned to the leader, I guess, of the CP0 why he's bringing up this all of a sudden. Because we know Momo has the devil fruit, but why is he bringing it up? So maybe foreshadowing for something later on. But they ask him that, and he just says he was just thinking to himself, thank goodness it was a failure. But we know it wasn't, so I wonder why. Now to the last page, big discussion that we're gonna discuss as I get into it. We see all these cupboards wake up, and they're like, who tended to us? Kappa Kappa says that he saw someone familiar, but it must have been a dream. And then Kinemon says, the battle is still ongoing. Luffy's group is engaged with Kaido. Time for them to go back out. And then we see the door bust open, and we hear a voice. Just look at you. You've gone through hell. And we see on the next page, mind blown because it's Odin. NANI? And he's like, I've missed you. You're so much older now. Ha 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 ha. And everyone is shocked, like, Lord Odin. So yeah, the chapter ends with that, and of course it ends on a cliffhanger, and we have no chapter next week. So let's get into this quick. No more stalling. Odin is back. However, I believe this is not Odin for a few reasons. First of all, Odin, when we saw Odin die in the pot of oil and he was shot in the head. But that aside, we noticed some differences in this Odin from the past Odin. So I'll try to maybe throw up an image of Odin, the two Odins up on the screen so we could compare them. We see first of all this Odin is garb, his attire is way longer than normal. Because we know Odin usually wears a shorter kimono-esque outfit to show off his legs. So we don't see that here. 1. 2, we know Odin has hairy legs. His legs aren't hairy. Here, of course, they're covered up. That's 2. 3, well, we know the swords would be different, of course, because he gave his kids the swords when he died. What we have to notice as well as by Odin, as we look at Odin's feet here, on the ground, we see smoke, and usually One Piece we don't see smoke by feet just so. It was either a transformation or something that took place, I believe at least. Next, if we look at Odin's pose, Odin never posed like this before. So now this leads into who I think it is and what I think it is. So this could either be one of a few people. 1, Onimaru or Gyukimaru, who transform into Odin to somehow come across here. Could be him. 2, this could be, nobody wants to say it might be, but I've seen a few people agree, some people don't want it to be. This could be Katarina Devon from the Blackbeard Pirates, which would imply Blackbeard is here because the pose mimics her pose that we've seen her done before with the hands. I'll throw pictures up of that up on the screen too. If it's not Devon or Yukimaru / Onimaru, maybe Odin, but then Oda would have to really explain and give a good explanation as to why Odin is still alive. What else it could be? Maybe Toki managed to send Odin into the future. We don't know, but I don't know how she would do that. There's a lot of questions out here concerning this mind-blowing, this, how, like how, we don't know, but how. So yeah, I still think it's an imposter. I'm really doubting this is Odin. I really doubt it. But if it is, I would be shocked. But again, I'm leaning more on this is Devon and Blackbeard is here somehow. So yeah. I saw people say maybe it's the Mane fruit, but that means Mr. 2 would have died, which is Bon Clay, would have to died, or die, would have to, you know what I mean, he would have died some point in time, and then how would his fruit end up from Impel down to here? So, questions. Also, there's a connection between King and Shiryu because they both have on the same kind of jailer's outfit. So maybe that is a reason why Blackbeard could be here, because then we'd get more between Shiryu and King. If there is a connection, of course we would get Kaido and Blackbeard, and everyone has been thinking Blackbeard is going to steal a third devil fruit, being as one to have all 3 types. And which other fruit would you prefer than the strongest, being the dragon? Unless there's a Cerberus, because his flag has 3 heads, is Jolly Roger, and a Cerberus has 3 heads, but I digress. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. This chapter was amazing. Can't wait to find out more about Odin and who Odin really is, being this Odin, because we saw Odin the last time dead. So dead, not dead, I don't know, we'll find out in 2 weeks. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your theories down below on who you think this is. Of course, I hope you guys enjoyed. So yeah, see y'all in the next one.